Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to KrabsFX. This is episode, I believe, 5 of backtesting every single day until I'm profitable. But right now, we're on January 2023. We're on the 6th. We're resuming where we left off here. We're backtesting the Silverbullet system. And as before, I'm going to just show you the trading plan I'm using real quick. If you want to screenshot it just so that you see what I'm doing, here it is. But yeah, let's get into it right away. NASDAQ here. Gonna skip to my kill zone now of 10 a.m. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna mark up previous day's highs, previous day's lows, session highs and lows, to just give myself a map of where we actually are in the market. So right here, we're gonna start off previous day's high up here. I'm gonna throw previous day's low was below here. And looks like we got a Asia high right here, which was swept. Looks like we swept Asia high at like 8 a.m. Believe we had some news here. NFP here possibly at 8:30, so that could have been that candle. But here we got London low, was swept for liquidity as well. I don't really see a significant London high. I mean, we swept the Asia high. We could be drawing towards previous day's high possibly, but our bias here is bearish, so I'm looking for a move to the downside. But yeah, daily bearish, 4-hour bearish, 1-hour bullish. So we are in a little bit of a tricky area, but with this daily and 4-hour both being bearish, that gives me my bias for the day, which is bearish. But yeah, let's check the 4-hour for any fair value gaps. Right here, I see we got a 4-hour gap that we already filled though, so not gonna mark that up. But also on the 4-hour here, it looks like we have a shift down right now in market structure, or we have some displacement here. Looks like we retraced, filled this 4-hour gap as well. So yeah, looks like we have liquidity swept above these highs on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour, same thing, swept these. I guess you consider these like some of yesterday's highs. I mean, over here we do have a 1-hour gap though. I'm gonna mark this up just so that we're aware of it. I'm gonna mark it up in, I'm gonna just leave it that color for now. So yeah, there's not really any higher time frame gaps I'm too worried about right now. Or not worried about that, I gotta keep an eye on. But yeah, it looks like we tapped into this 1-hour gap, filled it about 50% and rejected downwards. Yeah, hopping on the 15-minute. Looks like we may leave behind this 15-minute gap. What I'm gonna do right now is skip exactly to 10 a.m. So here's 10 a.m. Looks like we're just about to fill this 15-minute gap. Looks like we got news at 10 a.m. as well. So this right here, ISM non-manufacturing PMI. Pretty sure that's a red folder. Let's hop on Forex Factory just to double check. We're gonna go all the way back down to 2023. And we are on the 6th. So yeah, 10 a.m. ISM services PMI. We had NFP before. So yeah, got that. Gonna mark up this 15-minute fair value gap. Gonna mark this up different color. Looks like we're in it right now. But since there is news, realistically, I would be waiting a little bit and not taking this off the rip to the downside. So I'm gonna wait at least like 10 minutes after news. But yeah, we might not even get another setup. And if that's the case, that's alright. But I do not want to trade this news right now. Alright, so that's pretty much what I'm looking at on the 15-minute. I'm expecting this could give a push down, but we do have news right now, so anything can happen. But yeah, let's just watch price now. So news was rejecting a little bit here. Also, if this was my entry, stop loss would have to be very wide. So this setup wouldn't really make sense if I would have taken a short here. But yeah, let's see if we can get a 5-minute gap left behind. Ideally, I want to wait like 15 minutes after news to trade again. But yeah, it looks like we're going to tap back into this 1-hour gap. Could potentially want to fill the 1-hour gap and then continue back down. That could also make sense. Also, that would be nice because we would sweep these highs over here. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Right now, price could be drawing towards these previous day's highs right here. But yeah, we're gonna watch this here now. Possibly the drawn liquidity could also be previous day's highs here. So if price wants to continue up, that would be the draw. Right here, if we get some nice displacement and then a 5-minute fair value gap, that would be perfect. But yeah, I need a strong bearish closure and then tap into a fair value gap. $10.30 here. So it looks like price could be drawing to fill this 1-hour gap here. But my bias, still looking back, I was more bearish. Just based on daily and 4-hour. 4-hour had a shift down in market structure a little bit, especially with this 4-hour candle. We are playing in a bit of a tough spot. but I believe my bias was solid, and I did have a good reason to have a bearish bias. But yeah, we may not get a setup. I mean, if I were to take a bullish play, it would be if price taps into this fair value gap right here. Something like that, targeting previous day's highs. Let's see what would stop be. Stop loss would have to be about 50 points. But yeah, bias is bearish. I can't really take anything to the upside here. We really didn't get any opportunities. Even this 15-minute gap was not retested. Like, to be an inverse gap, it wasn't really retested at all. But yeah, now I can see price trying to run these previous day's highs for liquidity, and then maybe continue back down. But let's see. And it's gonna sweep these highs here, and swept the highs. Pretty unfortunate we didn't follow, or price didn't want to follow my bearish bias. But when I had daily and 4-hour bearish like that, I could not really take a long position. But yeah, we're gonna skip over to the next day. Actually, first I'm gonna journal this real quick and just write that we didn't really have any setups following my bias. I'm gonna write I wrote that my bias wasn't really respected as well. But yeah, hopping on the next day, the 9th, this is a Monday. The 9th right here. About to skip over there. See if we can take some trades, because these no setups be pretty tough. But yeah, if there's no setup, I'm not gonna take a trade, so that's just how it be. Next day at 10 o'clock is right here. I kind of like trading at 10 a.m. because that 9:30 a.m. NYSE open candle is normally pretty crazy like this, and I used to like it, but honestly now I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like, it is a good amount of momentum, but it's just too volatile. So previous day's low here, previous day's high up here. Looks like now, based on the previous day being bullish, I'm predicting that daily closed bullish, and it did. 4-hour bullish. So now our bias is fixed bullish. We got 1 hour, 4-hour, and daily aligned here. That's what I like to see for bias. Daily bullish, 4-hour bullish, 1-hour bullish as well. But yeah, it looks like we left behind pretty large daily fair value gap right here. I'm gonna mark out, and we do have daily fair value gap over here left behind. We're gonna mark this up. Price could be drawing towards it. And the 4-hour here also got a 4-hour gap here. Gonna mark this up in a different color. I like to mark up all my higher time frame fair value gaps just so that I know where I'm at in the market. But yeah, any 4-hour gaps up here? Looks like we just filled this 4-hour gap, and we're about to fill this 4-hour gap right here. So sometimes when there's a bunch of higher time frame gaps, you will get them like overlaying each other like this, but that's actually a good way to see like if you're a good spot, if you're in a good spot to be trading in that area anyway. Yeah, right here, 4-hour gap, just marking that up. And now we're gonna hop on the 1-hour. But yeah, right here, we're definitely bullish. So we got fixed bullish bias, only looking for longs on the 1-hour. I'm not gonna mark up these gaps because I already know that we're in like a higher time frame liquidity void right here. Daily gap here. And I'm not gonna mark up these low gaps here on the 1-hour. But looks like we're tapping into this 4-hour gap right now. And there's not really any major gaps in price that I'm looking at, because we have this daily gap here. But yeah, let's see what's up on the 15-minute. Looks like we got a gap left behind here. I'll mark this up in like different color. Let's get like an orange. Minute here. But yeah, let's see what price does when it opens up at 10 a.m. So we're gonna skip right here, and boom. Alright, so ideally, where am I looking for setup? Possibly off this 15-minute gap, but this is a tough area after a push like this. So ideally I want some type of structure to be formed. Like we're above previous day's highs right now, but scrolling back, the next liquidity is sitting around here. So I'm gonna just mark that up. This is buy side liquidity sitting above there. Got some equal highs here, but yeah, let's see. Like this is the target for right now. We might sweep through it right now, and then it might be tough to find something. But yeah, ideally right now I want some type of reaction off this gap, make some structure, and then possibly have a gap to continue to sweep this buy side liquidity. So this is the target. I can see price sweeping this and sweeping the highs here. But yeah, ideally, this is a 4-hour gap. I want to see some type of reaction off of it so that we can get structure made. Maybe if we can come back down to these gaps here. But yeah, let's just watch closely here. Looks like we might get displacement. But yeah, my bias is bullish, so not taking anything to the downside here. Price might want to just consolidate a little bit in this 4-hour gap. But let's see what happens. I just want to see what happened here on the 1 minute. Nothing major here on the 1 minute happened. But I mean, following bullish bias here, it would have given a entry for upside move. 10-point stop. Would have given a nice move already. But yeah, the next back testing, I might even go down to the 1 minute. Or not the next back testing. After I gather like at least 6 months of data using the 5-minute executions, I might go down a time frame. Just because here we're not having setups. And today we might not even have a setup. But yeah, if this continues to the upside and targets this buy side liquidity, on the 1 minute here, there was an entry right here. It was actually a good entry because we swept these lows here. I mean, this was a little bit of displacement to the downside, but we did still sweep these lows. And then price created a fair value gap. Or never mind, it didn't really create a fair value gap. This was an imbalance. I was looking at this like it was a gap, but yeah, so maybe there wasn't an entry. Looking back, I was looking at this like it was a gap, but this was just a 5 or a 1 minute imbalance, so I wouldn't take that. But yeah, here price almost reached into the gap. But yeah, so far no entries. Let's see what happens here. I do want to see this buy side liquidity taken out though. If we can get a gap formed right here, that would be very nice. But we need this 5 minute to close before sweeping these highs, or else we don't really have a target anymore. Okay, let's see if we can close below this buy side. And it looks like we did. So now I'm looking for my entry right here. If we can just tap into this gap. Gonna run a bit wider of a stop. So we're gonna run a 30-point stop, targeting a 1 to 2, a little bit above the buy side liquidity. But here we're gonna be break even because this would hit our 1 to 1. So we're gonna go break even at the target and hold to 1 to 2. But yeah, ideally I want to see this tap into this 5 minute fair value gap right here. But yeah, let's see if we can get this move. I just need it to tap the top of this gap. If we just continue up, pretty unfortunate, which is what we just did, and now we hit target, so I'm gonna delete that order. But yeah, sweeping the target now. We do have this 5-minute gap, but do I really want to take something off that? No, because we have another gap right below it, but it looks like we are like inversing this 4-hour gap, which is nice to see. But our target played out perfectly, and we just didn't really have an entry. The thing right now for me, which I'm getting a lot better at, is seeing my targets get hit and my bias being correct, which is something I'm getting better at through this backtesting. Like as you can see in the previous videos, like sometimes I won't even have an entry, but my bias will play out. Like I think right here, wait no, I don't know, but another data, my bias has been good. But right here, looks like we did, if I was trading the 1 minute, I would have had an entry. If I was on the 1 minute, there would be an entry. The entry here would be something like this. Probably run stops below this low here, 15 points. I would be risk free right now, targeting 1 to 2. I'm not taking this trade like for the journal. I'm just watching what price would have done if I was on the 1 minute chart, the lowest time frame that I would go to. But yeah, I just want to see if this will play out. Looks like price is now consolidating at buy side liquidity at the target, as it should, because it swept it, and now it could have a pullback down. But yeah, I'm gonna just get rid of this so that it doesn't look like I took that trade or anything. But yeah, here would be the 1 minute fair value gap. Boom, stops below it, targeting 1 to 2. But yeah, on the 1 minute, looks like we retested this 5 minute gap here. But yeah, most likely no entries here for today. But let's see, we swept this buy side liquidity. Now we could possibly get a move down. Filling this 5 minute gap. Yeah, so now this is like a 2022 model. Swept the highs, could tap back into this gap, fill it, then continue down. Or we could just continue up to follow bias. But after sweeping these highs, we did get the reaction down here. So yeah, on to the next day. I forgot to screenshot it, but I'm gonna just screenshot this. I'm gonna throw no setups, no entry on 5 minute. 1 minute did have an entry, which would have gone hit break even. But bias and target, buy side liquidity was hit perfectly. Rules followed, yes. Just throw this for anything. 1% risk I'm using, but no entry. Bias was bullish. Followed bias, yes. Alright, but on to the next day, Tuesday, the 10th. We're gonna skip over there. Yeah, nice trending day. It's pretty unfortunate we couldn't get an entry. Skip over to 10 a.m. now. And same thing as before, marking up previous day highs and lows just to see where we are in the market, what liquidity was swept, where the session highs and lows are for the day. So previous day's high was not yet swept. Most likely, before I even look at the higher time frames, I'm predicting that our bias is bullish based on this pump from the previous day. Looks like we did a retrace in PM session right here around like 1:30 or 2 to 3, I believe is PM session. We did retrace down this entire move, which is interesting to see. But yeah, London here was bullish. This is something I wasn't really mentioning in the past, but I also look at what London did. London was bullish, so I'm looking to continue this bullish momentum. Let's see what daily's bullish, 4-hour bearish, 1-hour bullish. But yeah, let's mark up our session highs and lows here. Here we got London high being swept right now for liquidity. We got previous day's low here swept, and we had a reaction to the upside off of that. But yeah, Asia low, that's pretty much it for the session highs and lows. Not looking at much of anything else. But yeah, right here on the daily, we do still have this fair value gap sitting here, which I'm gonna just mark up so that we don't forget about. Mark this up like blue. And also up here, just so that we do not forget about these higher time frame gaps. But yeah, on the 4-hour here, looks like we just filled a 4-hour gap here. On the 4-hour, got this gap here. Just gonna mark it up so that we're aware of it. Let's do like a darker color. But yeah, pretty big liquidity void here on the higher time frames. All of this right here. But yeah, other than that, I don't see much. I mean, there's this on 4-hour too. And on the 1-hour, looks like we bounced off of this daily gap, bounced off the 4-hour gap and the 1-hour gap as well, swept the lows, so price had a nice reaction there to the upside. I'm gonna just mark up these 1-hour gaps because we are getting close to them, so I might as well have them marked up. One hour here, 1 hour right here as well. But yeah, we're bullish. daily bullish. We got 4-hour bearish though, but we didn't really break any structure. Looking at the 1 hour, if we can close like this, that would be nice. But yeah, let's see exactly what happens at 10 a.m. First, let me mark up my kill zone time right there. I'll mark up my 15-minute gaps right here. Mark this up, 15-minute. But yeah, it's nice to see how respected these fair value gaps are getting, especially higher time frame ones. Like on the daily and 4-hour here, price respected them very nicely. And look at this 1 hour, we tapped it, had a reaction off of it right away. This is why I like using these gaps, and this is why I'm investigating the lower time frames like the 15, the 5, and even the 1 minute. Because right when price taps into higher time frame gaps, we often get reactions off them like we did right here. But yeah, looking at the 5-minute, 15-minute gap is also part of a 5-minute gap here. But yeah, we swept London high here, tapped into this 1 hour gap. Could possibly get a retracement down to this 15-minute gap to continue price back up. But yeah, let's see what price can do here. We're gonna open up 10 a.m. Let's see what's up. Do we have any news? There's a Powell speech at 9 a.m. That should be over by now. That's probably why we had such a volatile market open here. Powell's speech. But this is January 10th. Let's see what's up. January 10th. Got nothing I'm worried about. Just Powell spoke before. He's probably done. He doesn't really speak for more than an hour, I don't think. But yeah, opening up 10 a.m. Ideally, I'm trying to look at price. I'm trying to see price smack this 15-minute gap to continue back up, unless we get like a 5-minute gap forming here. Let's just check the 1 minute. What's up on the 1 minute? We got a 1 minute gap here, which price is playing inside of right now. But yeah, let's just watch and what happens. I'm gonna just mark this up because I just want to watch this 1 minute. What's going on the 1 minute here? Not gonna take anything based on 1 minute because it's back testing. I'm going as low as 5 minute. I just want to see like if this 1 minute gets respected here. Looks like could even take a trade here right in the 1 minute, but this would be the trade. Stops are very big here, so it probably wouldn't make sense to take that anyway. But yeah, let's just watch here. See what price wants to do. Let's see what the next draw on liquidity is. We got some buy side up here. So this is the next target. And then we got more buy side up here. So we got this target buy side liquidity right here, and as well as previous day's high being the main target, the main next draw on liquidity that I'm expecting. Yeah, let's see what price does here. Looks like we could want to fill this 1 minute gap. So if we do get a gap form here, I would be taking it because we do have this buy side liquidity target. Looks like we just filled this 1 hour gap here. Let's see if we could close below our target so that we can get a entry. Alright, perfect. So right here, if we can tap back into this fair value gap on the 5 minute, this is the gap I'm looking at. We can tap into this. I'll take my long. Just off of the top, I just need some type of wick to wick me into my longs. So this is the position if we get wicked in. Stops below the candle that made the fair value gap, about 35 point stops. About 37 point stops actually. Targeting 1 to 2. Targets around the buy side liquidity here, which is a solid target. Yeah, let's see if we can get tapped in. Boom, tapped in. We're going to take our entry right off of here. Stops are about gonna run about 32 point stops. Target is just above this buy side liquidity and this the bottom of this 1 hour gap. But yeah, we're gonna enter here. Buy it at market. 1 to 2 target. Let's get in here. Let's see what price can do. Fully bullish buys here. Filled that 5 minute gap. Let's see what's going on the 1 minute. If we could inverse this 5 minute gap, that would be nice to see. But price is struggling here. And price here stopped us out for -1%. Looks like we grabbed some liquidity here, possibly off these highs. But yeah, stopped out -1%. Price had a reaction off this 1 hour gap, but this was a valid setup targeting buy side liquidity up here. But yeah, stopped out of this. We're gonna note this down. Note this down in the journal. Pretty tough start to this backtesting, but it doesn't matter. We're gathering data over the whole month, not just a few days. Entry time was 10:20 a.m. Stop loss size was like 33 points. And this was, we had bias, bullish, we had displacement right here. Do we have liquidity swept? Not really. So this would be a minus setup. Or I meant to switch this, I'm pretty sure. So this would be the B plus setup because I changed these. So B plus setup here. And we're gonna throw in some notes here. So it looks like entry off 5-minute gap, bias plus 5-minute fair value gap tap, stop loss, target was buy side liquidity. The reason I think we rejected was because on the 1 hour here, filled the 1 hour gap and rejected off of it. So that's something to note. Reason lost, 1 hour fair value gap fill, and reaction occurred off of it in opposite. So that's pretty much it. 1 hour fair value gap got filled and a reaction happened off of it in the opposite direction of my bias. So this purple gap here, this is the 1 hour gap. Price filled it fully and had a reaction off of it. Price could even want to be targeting this 1 hour imbalance all the way down here at the bottom of this 15-minute gap. So let's just see what price does now. I wouldn't be surprised if price targets all the way down here, because this is the bottom of the 1 hour imbalance here. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna hit play here. 1 hour imbalance could be a shorter term target if price wants to continue downwards. But yeah, that target was hit perfectly, 1 hour imbalance hit, and now we're getting a reaction off of it. So yeah, that was a perfect target. 1 hour imbalance right here. I'm gonna highlight the line. Boom, it was swept perfectly. It didn't need to be swept, it just needed to be filled. But yeah, 1 hour imbalance filled and beautiful reaction right off of it. But yeah, it's pretty unfortunate that we reacted so strong off this 1 hour gap. That's something I'm gonna note for the future, is that when inside, pretty much inside of like higher time frame gaps, I gotta be more careful. But yeah, buys here, it's definitely bullish. I don't see any reason to be taking shorts, or I didn't really have a reason to take any shorts there. But yeah, that's pretty much the trade. I'm gonna throw in the screenshot. But yeah, after the trade, my 1 hour imbalance target, short-term target, was hit perfectly. Counter bias, so I couldn't take anything to target. But yeah, on to the next day now. We're on to, I believe, the 11th. Yeah, Wednesday here. But yeah, let's go next day. So on to the next day here, the 11th. Let's see if we got any news. Not really any news at all. I mean, there's this at 1 p.m., but that's nothing important. 10-year bond auction, orange folder. Not really worried about that. And that's after we're done trading. But yeah. Skip over there. Skip over to my kill zone, 10 to 11 a.m. And we're gonna see if we could fix this drawdown here. But yeah, let's skip to show the previous day here. Previous day was bullish, but this is where we were. We got caught in this pullback here. Man, previous day's low right here. Previous day's high right here, which was swept. You can see how price is kind of consolidating around the previous day's high right now. Looks like market open gave a push up. London session here was bullish as well, so we could see continuation of that. Previous day was bullish. Okay, let's just mark up some session highs and lows here. Right here we got London low. London high here being swept right now. I don't see any significant Asia highs and lows that we need since previous day's highs are here. So that's pretty much it for the session highs and lows. Hopping on the daily, I'm predicting it's bullish just based on this. So we should be able to continue the bullish bias. We got 4-hour bullish, daily bullish, 1-hour bearish, but this is like kind of like a hammer candle. This is almost a bullish candle. The way it closed here. But yeah, market open 9:30 a.m. Oh wait, we didn't yet get to 9:30 a.m. but let's see. Yeah, 9:30 a.m. gave us a push. But on the daily here, we're gonna do the same thing as before, marking up any gaps. Yeah, so 4-hour daily both bullish. I'm gonna mark that up. One hour now, I believe, is also bullish. Let's see. Yeah, so 1 hour bullish as well. So, fully bullish bias. No reason to take any shorts. But yeah, let's mark up any daily gaps that were left behind here. Got one right here. And that's pretty much it for the lower ones. We do also have daily gap all the way up here, which we could see price tap into during our kill zone because we're pretty close. We're not that far away. We're about 100 points away, so we could definitely see this daily gap get tapped into. Hopping on the 4-hour, don't see anything significant. I mean, we could mark out this gap just to keep an eye on it here. But 4-hour, don't see any gaps here that are significant. It could mark up this one as well if price wants to retrace all the way down there. But yeah, gonna hop on the 1 hour now. looks like we have some buy side liquidity resting up here. As a target, short-term target right now. And from a higher time frame perspective, the bottom of this daily gap, which is also this buy side liquidity right here, is also a target. So I'm gonna throw that right here. So that's what I'm targeting, the bottom of this daily gap. If we can get set up before that, that would be very nice. But yeah, hopping on the 15 minute. Or wait, did I mark up my 1 hour gaps? I did not. Alright, so 1 hour gap right here. Price did tap into it and we continued bullish. But other than that, let's see if we got anything here on the left. Not really. I do like these targets that I have. Higher time frame, they're pretty solid targets. One being this buy side liquidity, which should get hit pretty soon. And we also have this buy side liquidity, which is also the bottom of this daily fair value gap. So that's a pretty good target to have following our bullish bias. But yeah, here's a 1 hour gap. 15 minute, I don't see anything major on the 15 minute. We just got this 1 hour gap, so I'm gonna just leave that. I mean, if we want to get real specific with it, I'm gonna throw this one here because why not? 15 minute gap. Let's hop on the 5, see if we got anything setting us up. Not really. I don't see anything on the 5. So we will have to wait for some type of gap to be created. And ideally here, we're in a nice area. We got a lot of room to continue to this buy side longer term target. And this short term target, we are almost there. But yeah, let's see what price does here during our kill zone. I'm just gonna have a look at the 1 minute real quick. Don't have much on 1 minute. I mean, we do have a gap down here. And that's pretty much it on the 1 minute for right now. But yeah, going back to the 5 minute, let's play this, see what happens. Ideally, I want to see this buy side liquidity being targeted right now. If we can get a fair value gap left behind to enter on. So I need this candle closing. Yeah, perfect. I need it closing something like that so that I have my fair value gap to enter on. If this fills, let's see. Alright, so perfect. We left behind a 5 minute gap right here in price. So now if we can tap back into this. If you're wondering why I drew up all these big ass fair value gaps, it's just so that I know where I am in the market, and these are higher time frame gaps. So it's just so that I know where exactly I am in the market and what we're targeting. So if we can tap back into this, because I'm sure if anyone's watching right now, you're probably wondering why I marked up those big ass gaps all the way over here. But it's just another confluence for my targets. Like here we got buy side liquidity to the left. If we scroll here, buy side liquidity, and that liquidity is also the bottom of this blue daily fair value gap. But yeah, let's see what we could do here if we can tap in. Look at how perfect that is. 1 to 2 right at buy side liquidity. If we can tap into this 5-minute gap here, stop loss is going to be around, I'm going to run a 20-point stop just below this candle that created the middle of the fair value gap. Safe stop below there. Anything going below there invalidates me. But yeah, TP up here above buy side liquidity. I want to see it swept anyway, so having TP a little bit above it is all good. But let's just see if we even can get triggered here. Ideally, I need us to flip real quick. Alright, perfect. So we got filled right there. I forgot to enter the order on this, but let's see. If it taps back in there, it'll get triggered, but for backtesting reasons, I'm in it right now because that is where my entry was. Let's see if we tap back in. What is this? This is the 11th. And no news. I mean, they're talking about crude oil inventories, so I do not care about that. But yeah, I'm gonna just get rid of this because I forgot to put my limit order there. But yeah, price tap right back on the 5-minute gap. Let's see what is going on the 1 minute here. Nothing really left behind in price right now that I'm looking at based on the 1 minute. But let's see if we can hit 1 to 1 so we can move stops to break even. I'm just going to mark this up with a trend line when we get to 1 to 1, because that is part of our rules that we got to move to break even at 1 to 1. But yeah, let's watch here. 5 minute. Not leaving anything behind. Ideally now I want to see this 5-minute gap unfilled. Alright, so we hit our 1 to 1. Gonna move stops to break even. I'm just gonna leave like this here, like this measurement tool here, just for like risk to reward reasons, so that you can see like where we're at. Because if I go like this, can't see how big my stop loss was or anything. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that here, 20-point stop. But we are break even here, so if price comes back to my entry, I'll be out of this trade. But yeah, looks like we're targeting this buy side liquidity here. Looks like we left behind a 1 minute fair value gap here. Ideally, I want to see it unfilled, and price could just react off of it, or we could fill it and then also react, but let's just see. So we tapped into that 1 minute gap. Ideally, I don't want to see it get filled though. I want to see it get left behind as it's doing. Boom, target, buy side liquidity being hit right now. Let's see if we can hit our 1 to 2. Price is edging TP. There's no way. There's just no way. this reverses to break even right now. If it does, that's tough, but technically target was hit. Yeah, that's wild. So break even here. Target was hit, but I wanted my 1 to 2. But yeah, there's the break even. 1 to 2 almost hit, but didn't quite get it. Nice reaction here off the 1 minute gap. Tapped into, continued up. But yeah, this is the trade. BE hit. TP edged. Trades like this are pretty tough, but yeah, I'll mark this up. On the 5 minute here, we left behind a 5 minute gap here, which got disrespected. But yeah, we're gonna throw this into our journal here as a break even. Pretty unfortunate. That trade would have fixed our drawdown, but we just got edged right there. Possibly a tighter stop here just on this candle low would have helped us out, but it's all good. I wanted a little bit safer of a stop. Yeah, looking back at this, I probably could have had a tighter stop and that would have helped me out. Having my stop right here would have been more than enough, and then I would have had my 1 to 2 hit sooner. But yeah, for the future, as long as my stop is below a fair value gap like how it is here, and at the bottom of this candle, I believe my stop was a little bit too big. I had a 20-point stop. I wanted to have a little bit safer, but due to my target being right here, I should have had the tighter stop right here. So that's what we learned from that. But yeah, 1 to 2 edged. Hard to see this right now, but the reason I held for 1 to 2 was because I had a longer term target here at buy side liquidity up here, and this daily fair value gap right here, which is the blue. But yeah, that's a break even right there. Throw this, oh my voice. We're gonna throw this into the journal and write down some notes here. What happened? What setup was this? We had bias, we had displacement here. Did we have liquidity grabbed? We did have liquidity grabbed at 9:30 right here below these lows. If we hop on the 15 minute, I do like that liquidity being grabbed. Yeah, so we had liquidity grab here, 9:30 a.m. We had some displacement to the upside right here. We didn't quite close right above all the wicks, but this was some nice displacement to the upside, which left behind a fair value gap on the 5 minute. We entered right when price tapped into the 5 minute, because on these lower time frames, I don't like to see fair value gaps get filled all the way, because then it's too late. And most of the time, if it fills all the way on a lower time frame, it'll just end up reversing. But on higher time frames, I definitely like to see fair value gaps be filled all the way before entering. But lower time frames, I like to see them just get tapped and then have a reaction. But yeah, what I could have done better here was having a tighter stop, something like this, or maybe even below the gap. But ideally, I would want a stop like this. I would have hit my 1 to 2. But that is in hindsight. So here, I had a 200-point stopper just below the candle that formed the displacement of the fair value gap. But for the future, I think I could run tighter stops, because this tighter stop would be still below this 5-minute gap, and this gap getting disrespected would invalidate my setup. So that's that. And yeah, so this was liquidity raid, bias, displacement. So this was an A+ setup. As you can see, it would have hit TP if I just had a tighter stop, but my targets did get hit here. Buy side liquidity. If you're wondering what that liquidity was, it was just simply this high from back here. But yeah, break even. We're at 1 hour 11 minutes. We went over again a little bit by accident, but yeah, stop loss here was 20 points. I'm gonna write down that. Yeah, so this was an A+, but I'm gonna write down that stop loss. Stop loss should have been tighter. My TP was edge here due to stop loss being a little bit too wide, but what I like to see is my buy side liquidity short-term target was hit perfectly. We even swept it a little bit, but I just wanted a little bit more, but we didn't get it before reversing. But yeah, my buy side liquidity target was reached perfectly, but I didn't get my 1 to 2 RR. Since my stop loss was a little too wide. Like in the setup, I could have afforded a smaller stop loss simply because I could have had it below this 5-minute gap here instead of having it all the way below this candle. Or I could have had it exactly at this candle is what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Alright, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap up this backtesting session. We got break even, 1L, and some no entries here. But if you guys aren't in my Discord, make sure to hop in there. We're growing on Discord pretty fast. This is my exclusive free community. People in here are cooking. We got funded traders in here. And at 9:30 a.m. starting at 9:20 a.m. every single day, we're going to be doing some live trading in here. People are killing it in here. We got a ton of new members joining up. But yeah, I'm going to be locking this community eventually to just not let in random people. And yeah, if you're not in here right now, you're not going to be able to get in soon. So make sure to hop in. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. We got 14 subscribers on them. But yeah, we growing. This video actually got 65 views, which is the best any of my videos have ever gotten. All the work I put in to make these thumbnails, the video I post with no thumbnail does better than all of them, which is crazy. But yeah, wrapping this up, episode 5 of backtesting, 1 hour per day until I'm profitable. This was the Silverbullet ICT backtest on January 2023 on the NASDAQ. Actually, this is AM. the AM ICT Silverbullet, executing on the 5-minute. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, until next video, peace.